Good evening, everyone. Welcome into the Confident Autistic Live. Here I am, live and in person. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit late tonight. Couple of things and behind the scenes stories that I would like to share with you. One is YouTube did a little bit of different configuration. I had to kind of reset and figure out where the stream key was. It's technical jargon, so don't worry about it. And two, right before I was to begin, we had a family member come over. I had to help with something, so we got a little bit behind. Anyway, we're here. That's the important part. Happy Autism Awareness Month, Acceptance Month. Let's call it what it is, Acceptance Month. I am the Confident Autistic, but you can call me Chris. I'm a late diagnosed autistic adult, and on this channel, we do videos and other things to help you live confidently autistic. Excuse me for yawning. I'm kind of tired tonight. So, tonight we're going to be talking about things that people say that, maybe are misconceptions, misbeliefs, and kind of figure out how to respond to them and what we can say in response. So, as we get ready to get into this, go ahead and drop in the chat where you're watching from. Say hello. I may even say hello back to you. So, yeah, I'd love to hear from where you're tuning in from tonight. Specifically, what city or state you're in, uh, because that can be taken a lot of ways. Because some of us take things literally. People have asked me where are you zooming in from when I'm on a Zoom meeting. I say, well, my office. It's true, it is. Uh, I had one person ask me, what brought you here to this meeting? It was a Zoom meeting. I said, my internet provider. Okay, it's true. I mean, that's how I got there, through the internet provider. So, and you don't need to give out your home address. Let's not be that specific. But yeah, just go ahead and say where you are from. I'm in Southwest Missouri. And what is going on here is our weather's getting nicer. But you may have heard in the news there's this big, like, humongous storm system that's going to be hitting, excuse me, parts of the United States starting April 10th through 14th and all. And I'm kind of in that bullseye starting Monday the 13th through Wednesday the 15th. So we're hoping for no tornadoes here, but we'll keep things, keep you posted. I'll keep you posted here on the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to do, let's see over here, get out. There we go. Okay. I got to get my script up. Yeah. We're going to get into things tonight. Yeah. It's going to be a great night. Yeah. Let's see if I can, uh-oh. Hold on. I know what I did wrong. Give me a second. There we go. I started playing the video again here in the background. Okay, let's get into tonight's topic. And before I get into this here, and because right now I'm stalling because I'm trying to fix my screens. I don't know why, but that's what I need to do. My screens are better now. I feel better about life. That was not what I wanted to do. Come on. I had it a moment ago. Oh, I know what I need to do. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Things have changed in Zoom since I last used this. Okay, anyway, yeah, let's get into this for tonight's meeting. And the topic, of course, we're going to be talking about things that people say that kind of some are misconceptions. Some of them are like they're kind of hurtful to us, and that's why we call it ableism. These are terms that people use or expressions people say that are not true, and they kind of maybe make us feel bad about ourselves as a person on the spectrum. And sometimes people say these things, and I don't think they mean to be mean. I really don't. I think they're just, I don't want to use the word ignorant because they're not ignorant people. They're just ignorant about autism, and we're going to dive into that this evening. But before we do, I want to do a very quick rant. Okay. Today, today I went out in public. I don't like going out in public that much, but every once in a while I got to leave the house. So today was the day I had to leave the house. Okay. And I was gone a lot longer than I thought I was going to be. And that happens. Okay. No big deal. It happens. But I came home, I'm tired and all, and I realized this for a while. I realized this before my wife passed away. I knew when we were battling the cancer, I was thinking about what's my life going to be like after? What do I want my life to be? And it came to me that I want my life to be this. I mean, I would be happiest because social interaction is overwhelming to me. Sensory input is overwhelming. Social interaction is it's like a I don't know intense where a lot of it's a very big minefield you have to work through, and it's exhausting. Okay, masking and exhausting and all. Uh, and so I know that I want my life to be this. And I want to know if you feel the same way. If you're on the spectrum, and you're not that comfortable with small talk and interacting with people, I would love to. And I live in a nice house, okay? And I share the house with my mom because she's up in the years and I'm helping take care of her. But if I could have my dream life, maybe we ought to do a video on this sometime or a topic, maybe a journal prompt. I don't know. What would your dream life be? Mine would be to live in a two-bedroom apartment with just my cat and only interact with people outside my home when I wanted to, instead of always having people around me wanting to talk to me and all. Now, you guys on the channel, when you chat and all leave messages, I love that. Okay, I'm talking about people who come to my house, or family members that stop by, or some of the family dramas that go on. I don't want any of that. I don't need it. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to do the small talk. So it's just me. But if I could live my dream life, it would be to live in a two-bedroom apartment with just my cat, with minimal contact with the outside world, only when I want to. No, it sounds a little bit like being a hermit. I've been called a hermit before by my dad. Lovely man. That's sarcasm, by the way. And uh, it, it was hurtful, but I know a lot of us, I understand a lot of us on the spectrum. Interacting with people is very challenging. So I just like to know where you are on this. Do you prefer to be around people less and more to yourself? And are you happier that way? I know I'm happier that way. So while we're waiting for you guys to put in your comments to that, let's get into tonight's topic, okay? And I'll check the chat here in a moment. Okay, so let's talk about something that is real tonight. Have you ever had someone look at you and say, "You don't look autistic"? Or maybe, "But you seem fine," when you tell them that you're on the spectrum. Maybe they say, "You're too social to be autistic," or "You don't act like my cousin's kid who's on the spectrum." Yeah, we're going to go into those topics today and those experiences. So if you have any of those, put them into the chat. Uh, and let me know which ones you've experienced. So if you've heard something different, put it into chat and let's share that with me and with others that are watching this video live. And you're watching it an archive, go ahead and share that as well. Now, because these comments, because of those comments, they might sound harmless, but they reveal a large misunderstanding about what it really means to be an autistic adult. So, welcome into the live stream. I'm the Confident Autistic, but you can call me Chris. I'm a late diagnosed autistic adult. And this space is all about helping you understand yourself better, build confidence, and start living authentically autistic, or start living confidently autistic. So if you're here live, drop it live into the chat. And if you're watching in the replay, drop replay in. So I know that you watched it, okay? And as we go, I want to hear from you. What is something someone has said to you that makes you feel misunderstood? Because this is what it's all about, what we're talking about tonight. Being exposed to things people have said that make us feel misunderstood, or and maybe inferior is the right word, but that we're not equal to our neurotypical peers. So, yeah, put those into the chat. I see that we have a comment in the chat, so I'm going to go pop over there and check that out. Be right back. I'm still here. Just don't see my picture right now. Okay. All right. One of our regulars is here tonight, and he chatted in here, and yeah, M Vance. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that right. And I love handles. Okay, I do, and some of them are really nice and easy to read. Others are like a cryptic message. It's like when you read license plates and somebody has a license plate that has numbers and letters in it, and they're trying to make a word out of it, and you're like, how do I pronounce that? So anyway, so let's get into tonight's topic a little bit more here. Let's start with the big one, okay? You don't look autistic. And now here's the thing. What does autism look like? Truthfully, it does not have a look, okay? Most people have this mental image, usually based on stereotypes, outdated info, or what they've seen in media. But autism doesn't have a look because autism is a neurological difference. And a lot of us, especially those of us who were diagnosed with autism later in life, have spent years learning how to mask our autism so we can blend in with the crowd. I mean, I'm thinking of the movie Dr. Dolittle too with Eddie Murphy with the chameleon, that was having trouble blending into sceneries, saying, I have a broken blender. Then at the end of the movie, oh, my blender's working so fine. And that's what we do when we're masking. We're like chameleons. We try to blend in. So, what are people really saying when they say you don't look autistic? This is what they mean. You don't match the version of autism I have in my head. And usually that version is wrong. Okay? Because each person on the spectrum is a different individual. I mentioned this in other videos, and I cannot remember off the top of my head who said this originally. But when you meet one autistic person, you have met one autistic person. And it's a very true statement. It truly is. So keep that in mind. Now, another common misconceptions. Let's talk about this for a moment. Let's run through a few more things people may say to us and what they get wrong. Okay, this is important stuff. Very important stuff. And our first one we want to talk about is you are so high functioning. Now, there's some people in the autism community that said we should not use the word high functioning or low functioning. We should use high support needs, low support needs, whatever. Each their own. I'm not going to get into that argument, but people will say, but you're so high functioning. What they mean is you don't struggle. Well, what they really mean is they don't see a struggle. When in reality, they're only seeing the highlights reels of ourselves, not the behind the scenes. I was out in public today and I was visiting with a couple of people I know, and all, and I can do I don't like small talk, but I can engage in some back and forth conversations, and I make it look normal because the way that I've learned to adapt and to mask my inability to be really good at small talk is radio and television. Actually, when I'm talking with somebody or meeting someone in person, or even on the phone. I think of the old late night with David Letterman shows and other interviewers, and I interact as if I'm being interviewed or if I'm interviewing someone like I'm the host of Late Night with David Letterman. Well, I'm not David Letterman, it'd be Late Night with the Confident Autistic. But anyway, so they don't see that behind me, I'm anxious. I'm nervous. This is very uncomfortable for me. I will try to make eye contact because I know it's expected, but I don't like it. So I don't always do it well. And some people notice that and bring it up, and some don't. And so even though they say you don't, that you are so high functioning, doesn't mean that you are. It means um, they don't see your struggles because we have learned to compensate for them and in some cases mask, or we don't really have that much struggle interacting with someone. Maybe our struggle is just getting ready to do that and the struggle afterwards being exhausted. It's just a lot of things. So you are so high functioning is something people often misunderstand because they may not know. They're probably not autistic. They may not really know anyone who's autistic. Another thing that people will say to us is everyone's a little autistic. This one, well, I don't know. No, everyone has traits. Not everyone has a neurodevelopmental condition that impacts their entire life. I mean, let's say a person that has autism is shy, okay? And that could be because of neurological disorder, because of the autism. They're just not comfortable talking to people. But then there are people who are neurotypical who are also shy, but that does not make them autistic, okay? And but yet because I'm on the spectrum and I'm uncomfortable with small talk, and there could be neurotypical people who are uncomfortable with small talk. People may get the impression that everyone has a little bit of autism because I'm uncomfortable. They know neurotypicals are uncomfortable. Well, yeah, there's similar symptoms, but there's different causes for it. And this is where people get these things wrong. You must not be that autistic. Now, this creates a very harmful hierarchy. Like there's a more valid or less valid version of autism, and there isn't. That is not how autism works. There, there's I know we could talk about level one, level two, level three, uh, and the how much it impacts our lives are different. But there is saying that you're not that autistic is really is hurtful. It's wrong because the truth is we're all of us that are on the spectrum are autistic, but the autism, because it's a neurological issue, affects each of us differently. So even though I may struggle with one area in my life, others on the spectrum may struggle with another. Does not mean it does not mean one more autistic than the other. And remember, this is not a competition. Like Letterman was, and you're probably getting the idea. I liked David Letterman a lot when I was younger. I still do. But he would always say, "This is only an exhibition, not a competition. Please, no wagering." And that's true. And this is I don't even want to say it's an exhibition. We're not like on exhibit in a museum or anything. But the point is, this is not a competition. We're all on the spectrum, and the autism affects each of us differently. No two, like I mentioned earlier, no two people who are autism are going to be identical. When you meet one person with autism, you have met one person with autism. And that's true. And Vance was putting in chat, speaking there. Not all neurotypicals are the same. That is exactly true. Each one of us is a unique human being. I've said this in other venues, but each one of us on this planet, no two of us are the same. Each one of us is as unique as a snowflake because there's no two snowflakes that are alike. That's what they say. So everyone is different, whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, doesn't matter. Every one of us is different. We have different experiences, different stories, different journeys we've been on, and they affect us differently. I mean, you can have two people who are identical twins, grew up together, and one could go down the path of doing drugs, being a criminal, whatever. And the other one becomes an honor student in college. Two people, same path, but the two different individuals. So yeah, uh, that's the important thing to remember that each one of us is different. You made it this far. You're fine. So you tell somebody you're autistic and they say, well, you made it this far in life. You're fine. You don't need to worry about it. They have not seen what you battled through. They have not seen the challenges that you have faced. They haven't. Uh, and so this is a hurtful thing. So, as we're talking about, you made it this far. You're fine. Yeah, we made it. But at what cost? Burnout, confusion, years of feeling different without knowing why. Yeah, they see us at the point we are now. They did not see the work that we did to get there. I mean, let's look at a successful athlete. I mean, any professional athlete, you see them successful. I mean, home run leaders or leaders in touchdowns or passing in football or goals in hockey or whatever, right? And you think, oh, that's great. But that took a lot of practice to get there. And they went through a lot of hardship before they got to the level they are. We do the same. What we're able to do did not come easy for us. And we may have experienced burnout getting to this point. We may still experience burnout today, trying to live authentically as ourselves. We may experience confusion. I know I get very confused at times. Oh man, do I? and 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 of course, many of us have had years, if not decades, of feeling different without knowing why. And for many of us, we are on the spectrum, and we should have been a long time ago. But like in my case, when I was at the age that many people would get diagnosed today, we had a much narrower or smaller definition of what autism is. And that is unfortunate. And because we did not get diagnosed, many years we felt different, not knowing why. You're not autistic because the criteria was different. So we knew we were different, we did not know why. And that wears on us. So even though we look like we have made it this far in life, the person saying that does not know the journey we've been through. And if we say that to another person, whether they're autistic enough or not, I should say, we don't know what they've been through to get there. We've not walked that road. Yeah, I'm physically disabled, okay? And I can get around pretty well using a rollator. Now, I had an incomplete spinal cord injury in 2002. And for the longest time, I could only get around in a wheelchair or on a scooter. Today, I'm able to walk using a walker or rollator, actually. A walker has two wheels, a rollator has four. And I can bebop around and do things. And all. And people say, that looks so easy. You're so good at doing that. They have not seen the years that I worked at getting better at this. I I was in physical therapy after my injury. I had an incomplete spinal cord injury during surgery. And I was in physical therapy for about a year, maybe a little bit more, and my progress was slowing down. The insurance company gave up on me. I didn't give up on myself. It took me, I think, about 5 years after my injury before I started learning how to walk. But I taught myself to walk. So the thing that people see me doing say, oh, you're not doing that bad. They do not know the 22, well, actually, a 24-year journey it has been so far to get to where I am today. Now, in a moment here, we're going to talk about the impact all of this has on us. But I'm going to take a quick peek here at chat. So I'm going to go and figure out where I am. Is that where I am? Yeah, this is where I am. And I'm going to go off camera for a second, but I'm still with you, and I'm going to check out the chat. Okay. Of course, I get frustrated with my struggles, but I realize that I have a different operating system. My mind just works differently. That is so true. And I've heard a lot of people say that. Let me get back on camera here. I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard the analogy that uh, we are running an Android phone and we're trying to use Apple software or vice versa, whatever analogy you want to use. And that is a great way to describe it. I mean, it is. We just feel like we're different and all. It's frustrating. Or like trying to put a square peg into a round hole or a round peg into a square hole. I think the square peg into a round hole is harder unless the round peg is bigger than the square hole. But I digress. Yes. Yeah, it's a valid comment. It's a great one that you mentioned. Thank you. So let's talk about the impact and let's talk about why this actually matters. Because these comments don't just miss the mark, they can make us feel invisible, invalidated, like we have to prove ourselves over and over and over again, not just to them, to the neurotypicals, but even to ourselves. So when you hear one of these comments that we talked about tonight, like you don't look that autistic, you're doing fine so far, you don't look like my cousin's child that's autistic, blah blah blah. how does it make you feel? Do those comments make you feel invisible, invalidated, like we have to prove ourselves? For me, I think all three of those would apply. There are times I feel invisible. Sometimes I feel invalidated, like if I tell someone I'm on the spectrum and they make one of those comments and they're like making me feel like they're calling me a liar. Okay, like well, why would I say that? I guess there's some people who would, but I mean, for me, you know, this is not something I want to just say. Hey, I want to jump on that bandwagon. No, no, no. Either this is real. This is who I am. Um, and that makes me feel like I got to show them that I'm autistic. And you really don't have to prove that to anyone. You know that it's the truth. People accept it, fine. If not, that tells you about their character, not yours. And for a lot of us late diagnosed autistic adults, these comments that people say hits deep because we already spent years questioning who we are. So let me check the chat, see if anyone has any comments in there. Nope, nothing yet. Okay. But I also know I'm about a 25 to 30-second delay. So I'm going to take a drink of water for a second. Not a man, woman, or child alive does not enjoy some form of a refreshing beverage. David Letterman. A lot of Letterman references tonight, isn't there? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get back into this. How do we respond to these comments? First of all, before we get into any of this, and I want to say, I want us to give people the benefit of the doubt. Yes, some people are saying this to be mean jerks, okay? But I like to believe people are basically good. That was one of the founding core values of eBay before it went downhill. And that's my editorial opinion of eBay. But anyway, that people are basically good. And I like to believe that, okay? And I think that sometimes people say things out of ignorance. Not because they're ignorant people, they're just ignorant about the facts. So, what do we say when someone says any of these things to us? Well, here's a few ways you can respond. And if you have any suggestions on how to respond to those kind of comments, put them into the chat. Love to hear them. Okay. Option one, you can be calm and educational. You can tell someone autism doesn't have a specific look. It presents differently in everyone, which is true. I mean, it does. Everyone has a different look. Option number two is just scroll off my screen here. Hold on a second. I want to say this right. Being light but direct. And when somebody makes those comments to you, you can say, yeah, that's actually a really common misconception. And then you can go in and maybe explain a little bit more about what the truth is about autism, because you're more of an expert on it than some people, especially people who are making those comments that are misinformed about autism. The third option you can do is boundary setting. You can say to them, I know you probably didn't mean anything by that comment. Remember, I always like to believe people are basically good, they just do not know. So, in a boundary setting response, you could say, I know you probably didn't mean anything by that comment, but that comment can be really dismissive to a person like myself and others on the spectrum. And even if it's not personally dismissive to you, you can say that because then you're not advocating just for yourself, but for other people on the spectrum who are unable, for whatever reason, to advocate for themselves. You can be an advocate for our community, which we all need more advocates in our lives. Option four, we can be real and honest with people. You can say something like, honestly, I worked really hard to appear the way that you see me today. I mean, we talked about earlier, people do not see all the work that goes into someone being successful, whether it be somebody on the spectrum, an athlete, a executive at a company, a celebrity, whatever. People do not see that hard work. They just see where you are. There's a lot of hard work involved. And you can say, I worked really hard to appear this way. You can draw the analogy. You can draw the analogy. Well, you look great where you are too, and make them realize they put a lot of work to get to where they are, and you had to do the same. And of course, sometimes you don't have to respond at all. Just because someone makes a comment does not mean you have to respond to it. You can take the high road because protecting your energy is valid too. Now, there's a humorous one I've heard people say. Okay, I read it and people have said this. If someone says to you, you don't look autistic, you can always look at them and say, well, you don't look ignorant either, but here we are. So I don't really personally endorse that one, but hey, if it works for you, it works for you. Okay, but that is an option. I got to point that out to you. I would be doing you a disservice if I did not um, make that point that option out to you. So let's bring this back to you, the person on the other side of the screen watching this. What's something someone has said to you that just made you go, wow, they don't really get it, or they don't really get me? Drop it into the chat and let's talk about it a little bit and how you responded to it, or any suggestions you have for others on how to respond when someone says something to you that is a little bit uncomfortable for you, or makes you feel invisible, or is dismissive of you, or any other feelings. So let's go ahead and share those in the comments area here. And while I'm waiting for those to pop in, I'm going to go check out the chat. Not seeing anything new in there, but that's okay. So I'm going to sit here for a couple of minutes and talk about a few things, see if anything comes in, and then going to wrap it up for the night. Because A, I'm really thirsty. B, I'm really tired. And C, I want to get some rest. Okay, so something has come in. Let me take a peek there. I'm going to pop off camera here for a moment. Let me find the right button and then go and check the comments here. Um, oh, so it's Major Vance. I keep saying M Vance. Okay, Major Vance. Okay. Is there a G in it? Uh, oh, okay. Oh, okay. They're saying hi. Okay, I see what's going on. This is from Imagination Lives. Okay. The saying hi, Chris, Major Vance, and everyone. I have not been able to comment because I'm working furiously to meet a deadline while listening, but this has been great. Oh, thank you. Yeah, deadlines. The fun part, I used to say this about deadlines, okay, before it became more um, organized and focused. Is I love deadlines. I love the whooshing sound they make when they go past me or I pass by them. So that was always my thought on the deadlines thing. Yep. Oh, advance is okay. All right, fine. Yeah, I see the M in the Vance. I went, okay, advance, and like um, the comedian that was on Saturday Night Live, named A. Whitney Brown. It just went by A and then Whitney Brown, and some people just do that. So I don't care. It's fine. I try to accommodate everybody. So I hope you've all enjoyed tonight's little live stream. I'm going to be here for a moment or two. Want to tell you we'll be back next Thursday night, weather permitting. We should be out of the storms here, but if we have severe weather, I will post something on my YouTube channel letting you know that I won't be here because I'm safety first. I don't have a topic for next week yet. Yet we'll have one, and I will probably put that up on the YouTube channel on Monday, April 13th. And we will join us back together next week. Now, this is the first time you're watching my channel and you sat through this entire thing. Congratulations, you're a superstar. Okay, I gotta tell you, you are a superstar. You are a superstar. But you can do me a big favor. You could hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner of the screen. You're going to see a little tiny me there that says subscribe. Go ahead and take your mouse and punch me in the face. Not literally, but I mean, put the mouse pointer over my face in the lower right hand corner, click on it, pop it will come up that will let you subscribe and join the channel. I love each and every one of you who have subscribed. It means a lot to me that I have 347 subscribers and growing. And so I truly invite you to do that. Don't forget, I'm scheduled to have a podcast begin on April 29th called the Confident Autistic Podcast. We did the trailer for it last week, and it's up on the channel, by the way, that you can watch that trailer. And there's a page that will tell you about it. And I think next week, in the coming weeks, we're going to have links to how you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple, and other popular podcast player platforms. Try saying that 4 times fast. So that's coming. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great series. It's going to help connect you with resources that will help you live confidently autistic as a adult who suspects you're on the spectrum, self-identifies as autistic, or are living with or going through a late diagnosis of autism. No matter where you're on the journey, we're going to be connecting you with resources for that. So I encourage you to check out that podcast. Check out my website, theconfidentautistic.com. And I have a free resource that will give you some advice and tips on understanding autism, because to live confidently autistic as an autistic adult, we need to understand autism and ourselves. So it gives you a little basic introduction to autism and how to live confidently autistic. So you just go to my site, theconfidentautistic.com, and click slash blast. That's it. Theconfidentautistic.com slash blast. And that will get you that free PDF, and you get subscribed to my newsletter, which I'm going to get back into getting those going out in probably a week or two. So that those things are a coming. Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Want to let you know a couple of things on in case you're wondering, and if you weren't, just ignore me. I'm okay with that. Yesterday, and today, but yesterday a little bit more, have been two very hard days for me. If you're regular here, you may know that my wife passed away 19 weeks ago. Well, on April 8th, 5 years ago, that's when we received her cancer diagnosis. So it's a 5 year anniversary then. I was really hoping she would make it 5 years. She made it 4 years and 7 months. So it's been a little bit rough for me. I don't know about you, but dates are really important to me. I can remember dates like nobody's business, okay? And not just dates. I can tell you at what time on a day I did certain things. I was up at midnight. A couple of minutes after midnight this morning. And that was the same time 5 years ago. My wife, we were in the hospital room. She'd been admitted and all. She had a seizure early in the day. She had another seizure a couple of minutes after midnight. And, and thank goodness the nurse was in the room at that moment. Okay. And, and a wonderful nurse. I can't remember her name. It was her first night soloing. She'd been shadowing, had someone shadow her. So this is her first night soloing, and she had to call the doctor on call. And, you can get really terrified having to do that because of the fact that some of those doctors get testy if you ever watch ER. But she did a great job. She stayed calm. She knew what to do. And all, and helped my wife through a seizure. But I remember the moments like this morning around 9 o'clock, 8 to 9. I was remembering that 5 years ago, that this very hour, 8 to 9 this morning, I woke up in the hospital room after having a restless night watching over my wife. And the doctor came in and mentioned that she had cancer, which they told me the day before. And I was shocked. And the doctor looked at me, "Don't you remember we told you she had cancer?" And it wasn't, I don't think it was that I forgot. It was just, I was not quite ready to accept that, in denial. So I remember those things. I don't know if you do that on significant dates. I know I do that. It's kind of interesting because I can remember dates really well and remember anniversaries and when things happen in our family. I'm kind of like the family historian, but at times it's a double-edged sword, kind of a curse, because it brings back these unpleasant memories, which makes life challenging for me. But I'm doing better. I don't think I don't know if I showed it on the channel or not, but I'm going to try here. Uh, this is really tiny. Okay, I don't even know if we're going to pick it up on the camera. But this is a little pendant. It's a heart-shaped pendant with my wife's picture in it. And on the back, it has her name, the year she was born, the year she was died, and 831. I'll explain the 831 in a moment. And inside has some of her ashes. So I got this on a chain today, and now I'm starting to wear this when I'm out of the house. So it makes me feel better. I feel like she's with me a little bit. The 831 is a code we use on to text each other all the time. 831 is 8 letters, 3 words, one meaning. And that was I love you. There are 8 letters in the phrase I love you. There are 3 words, and there's one simple meaning that I loved her and she loved me. Anyway, I know this is a little bit off topic, but I want to share that with you and that I am working through the grieving process and all, and probably will be doing some videos on that in the future. Again, thank you for tuning in. Let me check. I think we have another comment here, so let me go check that out real quick. Okay, M. Vance, thank you for saying thank you for the videos. And I'm glad that you enjoy these. I enjoy doing these. So until next week, remember, uh, you are an amazing person. If you're on the spectrum, you're an amazing person. And this is what I would like you to take away from tonight's live stream. Are you ready? There could be a quiz later, so pay attention to this. All right, let's see. It popped away. Okay, here's what I would like you to take away. You don't need to look autistic to be autistic. Don't let anyone try to tell you that you have to look autistic. You don't need to prove that you're autistic to anybody else. You don't need to justify why you believe or that you've been diagnosed that you're on the spectrum. Your experience as a late diagnosed autistic adult, or someone who suspects they're autistic or self identifies as autistic, is valid. And the more we talk about this, the more we change the narrative and help more people accept autism, which is our goal this month, Autism Acceptance Month. So here's my call to action to you. If this resonates with you, make sure you subscribe to this channel and check out the Confident Autistic podcast that will be premiering tentatively scheduled for April 29th. And then always keep showing up as your authentic self, because that version of you, that's the one the world needs. So until we meet again, this is the Confident Autistic. I think we have something else coming here. I also spent many stressful days and nights in the hospital with my wife before she passed. My condolences. Thank you, M. Vance, and my condolences to you as well. So, looking forward to seeing you guys next week and learn as much as you can about autism. Let's really help Autism Acceptance Month be successful, because together, once we understand our autism, discover the resources that are available for us, we can actually say to ourselves and the world, yes, we can live confidently autistic. So until next week, take care of yourselves. If you're in the path of any storms coming, be safe. And remember, you're a wonderful, amazing person. And I will see you next Thursday night and maybe some videos between now and then. So have a wonderful evening.